Red hot comic book movie news. Defenders of the Earth. Defenders. The Weekly Planet. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday, and with me, as always, my co-host Nick Mason.
Wow, a rare misstep from James Mr. Sunday Movies there.
Thank you. It was rare, but it was a misstep. You got both things right.
That's
well done.
right.
What a great start.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Bless this mess. You know?
Agree. Oh, I misspoke again, but I was trying to fix your microphone, so if anything, that's your fault.
It's part of my contract that I do not fix anything, and everything goes wrong all the time, and I'm bad at it. If you'll check Article 1 of my contract, it says he will be bad at everything all the time, forever.
The one and only article.
And you can't fire him because technically he doesn't work here, I guess. Anyway, it's great to be here.
It certainly is. Just up top, I went on a few podcasts this week, but they're all under the Sans Pants umbrella. The one that's out at the moment at time of recording is Thumb Cramps.
Oh, yes.
Which is a big fun time where we talk about all the video gaming we've been doing lately. So it's also, I can't remember how they phrase it, but it's games giving something, where they make each other play a game and it's like a gift and they go, wow.
Did you have to play a game?
No, I mean, I played my own game. So
wow. Not part of games giving,
No,
it
they
seems.
didn't let me in.
Wow, that's actually very rude of them.
Yeah. But that was good fun.
But that's all right, because like Jackson would have made you play some weird freak game. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
and you would have had to give him some weird freak game, so you would have to go to the game shop and be like, what's a weird freak game for Jackson, you know?
But I also did a couple episodes of Plumbing the Death Star, which I haven't done in a few years. They're out this week. Or at least one of them's out this week.
Cool.
So, yeah. One of them's on, it's Raining Men, and what would that look like?
Okay. Horrifying.
And the other is, what would you do if you had the powers of the Flash?
Oh.
So, which
probably make it Raining Men.
Probably make it Raining Men. So that also ties into this week, of course, where we are going to be talking about the Flash movie.
Oh, 100 years in the making.
My
movie.
goodness, you are not wrong. There are time codes below if you do want to jump to that. But before we get there, we're going to talk about the death of a comic book legend, some updates on the writer's strike, a whole lot of new dates for some MCU stuff and some Avatar stuff and some Disney stuff, Mason, and some Sony Marvel stuff. First look at
some SPUMM stuff is what you're
SPUMM
saying.
Stuff, that's right.
All right.
First look at Kraven.
Oh, that's some SPUMM stuff.
Certainly is. What's going on with the Hulk? What's going on with the Hulk?
It's a great question.
That's
our spin-off podcast. What's going on with the Hulk?
We don't know.
I don't know. We're not. He's not here.
Yeah.
We have no connections.
You tell us.
Yeah, if you
Write it
could.
if you know.
Yeah. If you the authorities, let us know.
That's right.
Yeah. Why is he and David Banner always walking slowly in the woods at roughly the same time? What's going on there? Why is that sad music playing all the time? Do you think there's a connection between those two? We don't know.
We don't know.
We're not the authorities.
You tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan is also maybe that Warner Brothers deal is like some mending of fences and bridges.
Oh, the fences have been mended.
Wait, if the fences are mended, would that mean there would be a divide still? Did you put a fence
Oh,
up?
that's true, actually.
Stay on your side of the fence.
Yeah, I'd never thought about that phrasing at all. We've cracked the code.
We have.
Because that implies, James, that even though the fences have been mended, there is still... that
still that divide.
There's still that divide.
Get off my
is
property.
the premise there that like you're warring neighbours?
Yeah.
But then you've mended the fence, but you're still you're still cold and aloof.
If it was
really makes you think.
It does. If it was fences are mended and there's a gate, that's different.
Or a slip and slide.
Yeah.
a communal slip and slide.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, some more cancellations on the CW, and then the Batman, the Brave and the Bold gets a director. But that
for now.
Yeah, that leads into the Flash.
Yes.
Which we will talk about. Mason, sad news.
It's just there was 9 seasons of the Flash TV series in between the announcement of the Flash movie and the Flash movie coming out. It's just fascinating.
We just don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know.
So John Romita Sr. has passed away
That's
at
right.
age 93. People might know him as he's the artist who took over from Steve Ditko in 1966 on The Amazing Spider-Man.
That's true.
He's responsible for a number of iconic imagery, including Spider-Man No More. I'm not Spider-Man. I won't be doing it.
Spider-Man costume in the bin.
Spider-Man in the bin. Yeah.
He's responsible for Spider-Man in the bin.
If they would let me, this is off topic of this man's death who died, which is very sad. I do like an Elseworlds where the suit puts Peter Parker in the bin. And the suit is walking away.
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
And the head's sort of floppy to the side. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah.
Cool.
And Peter Parker, maybe there's a thought balloon and Peter Parker's like, but I don't want to be in the bin.
Too bad.
Yeah.
He also co-created Wolverine because he was in the leadership of Marvel.
Yeah,
at the time.
John Romita Sr., like when we say long-time Marvel artist, we're talking when Marvel was Timely Comics in like the late 40s. And then he came back he was in the army.
Yep.
And then he came back for when Timely Comics became Atlas Comics, and that's where he worked with Stan Lee for the first time.
Wild.
And then he came back again when Marvel when Atlas became Marvel. And then like you said, I think he was on Daredevil for a while.
Yeah.
And then Steve Ditko left Marvel and left Spider-Man, so we got to doing Spider-Man. And so he would have co-designed Mary Jane Watson, iconic. The Rhino, iconic.
Yep.
Shocker, iconic. So everybody from that era, the Kingpin.
Yep.
Who were you saying before?
Spider-Man in the bin.
Spider-Man in the bin. Yeah, Spider-Man in the bin. And so there was this era where he had a hand in creating so many of these designs that we see now that are just sort of, So like
he's responsible for all the designs they're not doing in the SPUMM universe.
That's exactly
in
right.
the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies.
So he would have designed Wolverine based on like a little
grub,
like a little grubby ratty man kind of thing. One of the first like ever pieces of information I ever learned about like the design of characters back in the day was that when Jerry Conway thought of the idea for the Punisher, he sent John Romita Sr. Like a little sketch of that idea, and it was like the black jumpsuit with like a little skull and crossbones in the middle, like Batman size, like the Batman logo. And Romita Sr. was like, cool, but what about this?
Yeah.
And then he gave him the giant, like the white skull Punisher logo with the teeth that go into the gun belt and all that sort of stuff. And like,
that's way cooler.
Iconic. It's way cooler, exactly, yeah. So
I didn't know that. That's super cool. So his son, who's also in comics, John Romita Jr., who would know.
Who has a, also iconic, but like a very distinctive, very distinctive from his father.
Yeah.
But like he's also been a long time Spider-Man artist. He's got this sort of super cool kind of blocky style to him.
Absolutely.
There's more to it than that, but I like to think of it as
No, that's
blocky.
it.
Yeah.
No, he said, I say with a heavy heart, my father passed away peacefully in his sleep. He is a legend in the art world, and it would be my honor to follow in his footsteps. Please keep your thoughts and condolences here out of respect for my family. He was the greatest man I ever met. So, yeah. I mean, 93 is great, obviously, but, what a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mason, let's move things along to happier news.
Okay.
The writer's strike is still happening.
Yay!
Actually, this is bad news.
Uh-oh,
so this is a headline from The Hollywood Reporter who says, writer's strike collateral damage. Janitor layoffs at studio spur demonstration. I can't believe all these writers fired these janitors. Can you believe that?
They did it. Without the writers being in those little rooms, in those crowded little rooms.
Or working from home.
They're all working from home. There was no they didn't make any litter, so the janitors had no bins to empty, so they were going to get laid off.
Yeah.
Sorry, writers, you did it. You did this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
How's that for a headline?
Yeah.
Really good stuff. So, so it is ongoing, and this has also led to a number of delays, which we are going to talk about today. Though a couple
Delays
things,
today.
Yeah, a couple of things have been moved up. So, it's not all bad news.
Is that good? Moved up. You mean closer to now?
Closer to now.
Okay, great.
Somewhat. Okay, here's some Marvel dates. Captain America Brave New World was May of 2024, and now it's July of 2024.
Okay, so that's later. Great,
yes.
Good.
That's filmed, though, or pretty much filmed if it's not already. Okay. I think it's done. Thunderbolts was previously July 2024 and now December 2024.
Okay.
Blade, this is never happening, that was supposed to start just before this all happened. September of 2024 is now February 2025.
Okay.
We'll see. Fantastic Four was February 2025 and is now May 2025. There's not a lot of movement there. But Avengers The Kang Dynasty has been bumped a full year from May 2025 to May 2026.
Because they've got to fix the entire concept.
They got to fix the concept. I don't think they haven't announced the director yet for that one, have they? One of them they have. I can't remember. And Secret Wars is also bumped a year to 2027.
Whoa.
Which is the follow-up.
Okay, but Secret Invasion is coming out pretty soon, right? It's like 2 weeks from now or
I'm going to talk about it in What We're Reading because I saw one of the episodes.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
You've been keeping this from me. You've been keeping this under your little hat.
Do you want to see
your
it?
little propeller hat.
Do you want to see it?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Is it one of those screeners that has...
Yeah, it's got my name across it.
Yeah, no, I don't
where
like those.
live,
You have to watch it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. No, I don't want to watch it like that. No.
Cool.
I'll wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I'll be mad at you for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can be mad at me.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I should have messaged you to let you know, Mason, that I'm watching a bad version of it, an inferior product.
You should have just put it on Twitter and then I could have watched
Oh yeah, you're right. I probably should have. Yeah. So that's the world of Marvel. They're either waiting to see what's going to shake out, also with Kang, with Jonathan Majors, or they're restructuring the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean,
who knows?
It might become the Doom Dynasty.
Yeah.
in 6 months.
Another
time.
guy dynasty.
Duck Dynasty. But those guys and they catch ducks or shoot ducks or whatever.
You know who thought Kang was dead? Well, he is.
That's right.
There's another guy though. It's not Kang.
Another guy Dynasty. Different guy. It's the You Dynasty. We're doing it like that Time magazine Person of the Year, and it's got a mirror on the front, and it's you.
I hated that
You're
one.
the villain now.
Didn't they pick the computer once as well?
Probably.
They were like, the computer is the Person of the Year. Well, I disagree, Mason. You know? I didn't get a say in that.
Wow, you wouldn't. You love computer.
Yeah, but I don't want them to be the Person of the Year. That means they beat me out.
But you won.
I'm not better than a computer.
But you won that time. So
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
know, but I wanted to win twice.
You can still win twice.
Can you?
I think so.
I'm back in the running?
Yeah. I think
Great.
so. Yeah, as guy who hates computer, guy with grudge against computer, you could win that.
I love this computer, Mason.
Yeah, wow.
But I hate the internet. Anyway, speaking of, Avatar 3, which was December 20th, 2024, so that was next year, is now going to be December 2025.
Okay.
Avatar 4 and 5 are now December 2029, which is 4 years after that.
Okay.
And December 2031.
Oh my God, that's not a real date. Also, look, honestly, that's also, I mean, James Cameron has taken a risk there because those dates are after the apocalypse as depicted in the Terminator movies.
Oh my God.
So maybe we won't even have an Earth then.
That's a good point. No, they fixed that in the movie though, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they probably fixed
Some of
it,
the
yeah.
movies they fixed that.
Some of the movies they fixed
Can't remember
that.
which one. Yeah.
Also, I'm sure some of these are due to the writer's strike, but I'm sure also some of these are just like
Internals.
internals.
Shuffles.
Yeah. Or they've seen, visual effects footage and like, we're gonna give these guys another 6 months. I imagine some of this is like feedback on.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of this must be feedback on, especially the Marvel stuff. Feedback on, the visuals of recent movies and them going, maybe we should.
Some we can tie like directly to the writer's strike, like Thunderbolts, because that we've talked about that one before. But
we don't have a script yet. We don't know what this is about.
We don't know who's in this or why. Yeah.
David Harbour, why are you in this? We're interviewing the cast. Oh, money, you say?
Oh,
okay, right.
makes
Great.
sense. Yeah. Also, you're going to hate this. Untitled Star Wars movie has been pushed from December 2025 to May of 2026, which is the traditional Star Wars date for Solo. And other Star Wars movies. And second untitled Star Wars movie, which was...
what about second untitled Star Wars movie?
That's going to come out the same year in December.
Very bold of them to just say, no, we don't even have titles for these, but they're on the slate for sure.
Yep.
And the director's locked in.
Yep.
Not fired.
Yep.
And they're definitely coming out. Oh, we delayed them.
Yeah. So, but we don't know specifically who. One of them's probably the Rey Skywalker movie.
Okay.
I know you're never going to call her Rey Skywalker, Mason.
It's true.
but that's happening.
She's Ray Sandgrub to me, always.
Also, there's the Thrawn movie, which is linked to like the Mandalorian-verse.
Okay.
That's probably happening. And there's also a James Mangold movie, but I think that depends on Indiana Jones.
Absolutely, it does.
And apparently a bunch of critics saw them and they were like, it's pretty good, maybe. So this week it's pretty good, maybe.
Yeah.
But you hate that, don't you, Mason?
No, I want it to be good.
Yeah, you say that now. Look at you, coming around now that you've heard the positive word of mouth.
That's right.
Bearing in mind, the ones that just came out don't mean anything because they're from like, they go to the screening and then whatever, and Harrison Ford's there.
They get a free popcorn in a Indiana Jones hat.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
You can't trust me.
I know. You've probably seen it already on your phone.
Yeah, I
with your
did.
name across it, not telling anybody.
Yeah, I did.
They sent you some stale popcorn in an Indiana Jones hat. You got to whip it out into your mouth.
Ooh. So, anyways, we'll talk about, I don't know, those when they come out.
Also, when I said, oh, they're probably pushing them back for visual effects reasons, that's just wishful thinking on my part. They're probably not going to
They
change
probably
anything.
don't care, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, also, you can't trust the Cannes reviews either because they're all snooty French people.
that's true.
So who can you trust? Yourself and nobody else.
That's right.
Look in the mirror and say, I trust you. But that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all.
And that weird monster that appears behind you.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Wilson in Insidious.
That's right.
You can trust that guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
You know?
He's all right. Yeah.
He'll mind your kids. He doesn't mind.
Definitely. Oh, isn't Patrick Wilson directing the next one of those ones?
Yeah, there's a new one coming out.
Yeah. Insidious Inception or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
Can't remember which that's not the one with where they're ghost hunters, is it?
No, that's the other one. It's very confusing to me at least because he's in 2 horror franchises.
And I've never seen any of them.
And he's in Moonfall.
Yeah.
And I think they're all set in the same universe. And all 3 of those characters are going to meet, I think, in maybe the final one.
That'd be great.
Patrick Dynasty.
Whoa. Here's the other
Patrick
thing.
Wars.
Whoa.
Yeah. Infinity
He
Patrick.
could be the guy.
Yeah. That's right. He could be the guy.
3 Patrick Wilsons.
Yeah.
Here's the good news, though. Deadpool 3 has been moved up from November of 2024 to May. They need someone to fill the gap, and that's
Okay.
currently filming.
All right.
So it's that.
Is that a good sign, though?
Yep.
A movie that famously a character that famously requires a lot of improv and funny bits thought of on the day. They're just being like, yeah, give it a few fewer months.
Yes.
Okay, great.
That's good news.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing is Fede Alvarez's Alien movie, which is apparently unconnected from all the other ones, has the date of August of 2024.
Okay.
So I think they're doing that either in like a Prey style.
Oh, okay,
separate,
sure.
same thing, whatever.
Okay.
Which is good, I think,
Yeah.
to do it that way. And also Moana, but not Moana that already came out, and not the sequel to Moana.
The live action one?
Moana again. That was
Wait, which one is this? Is
the
this
one
the
with
live
the
action
live
one?
action one.
With The Rock, maybe?
Yes, that was July 2nd, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's June 27th,
I
2025.
guess you don't need to rewrite that.
No.
You just have the old script and you make it longer somehow.
Yeah, you put some new songs in that people don't like.
Yeah.
You go for it. So that's moved up 6 days or whatever.
Has The Rock ever done a song? I guess he's in...
I mean, he sings in Moana.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's a great movie, genuinely. He's really good in it. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, I forgot this good news.
Oh, no, what is this?
El Muerto apparently begins production on August 7th of this year.
No, it doesn't.
No, I've got it here,
I'll
Mason.
believe it when I see
And
it.
if I saw the actual document. There's a
I'll
literal
believe it
document.
when I see the one production still of whoever's playing Bad Bunny running
Bunny,
through the
yeah.
forest or whatever.
Apparently Deadpool 3 is like the No Way Home with like X-Men. So they're all the ones from the movies and they got their
Wow.
costumes and whatever. So
Wow. Are people going to be sick of multiverses by the time that comes
I
out?
doubt it.
Okay,
I think
great.
we're all having a good time with that at
I
the
think
moment.
we're all having a good time with it.
Yeah. And speaking of multiverses and SPUMM, where does Kraven exist in the SPUMM? Is he in the
I don't know.
Venomverse?
I don't know, James.
Is he in the?
But it might have something to do with Spider-Man. It probably has something to do with Spider-Man.
Oh, very good.
Probably has something to do with
I was going to say
Spider-Man.
he looks like he's in a boring normal universe from that leaked image we got.
No, he doesn't, James. He looks like he's an extra in Hercules: The Legendary Journeys.
He does,
or
doesn't he?
possibly Xena Warrior Princess.
Yes. So he's wearing a leather vest. He's
Yes.
patented a leather vest, and he's doing a pose.
He's doing somewhat of a pose. He's looking off into the middle distance. He's like, "What's that? Is that the lion? I'm going to have to kill because it's a possessed lion, and I wouldn't kill it normally, but it's a possessed lion. I'm going to kill that lion, and then then I've earned my big lion vest. And I'm going to get it at the end and wear it for 2 seconds.
Do you think that's what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Cool. Is it a possessed lion in the comic?
No, but they're going to
Yeah,
have to
but I know.
justify him killing a lion.
He's Kraven, the animal lover. I think his dad, played by Russell Crowe, is original Kraven or whatever.
right.
Original recipe Kraven. Yeah.
Original Crave.
Russell Crowe will
Craven.
probably.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe doesn't do muscles anymore, so he'll just be wearing like a big coat, and I respect that.
And his skirt from Thor: Love and Thunder.
I saw that.
What do you mean?
I went to Acme in Melbourne.
Oh,
with
because
my
there's a
kids.
costume.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was
convention.
there because there's like a cool kind of, you go through the history of like film and whatever, and then it's just like, here's some Thor: Love and Thunder costumes, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
great movie.
that's right.
That's what I said. I said out loud.
They left them here. They just they finished filming and everybody doffed their costumes and they left.
Yep.
They got on a helicopter and they flew away. So we've reconstructed them as best we can. Some of them had mud on them.
Yep.
Wow. Is there, because a lot of at least some of those costumes are mostly CGI? Or
Yeah, no, they're all physically.
was there that one that looks really good that he replaces after 5 minutes with the fur and the
No, they got his
Interesting.
shiny golden blue one.
Yeah, I thought so.
I mean, it might have been there. To be honest, I didn't hang around.
You were blinded by the shiny golden blue one.
Exactly, yeah. So there you go. Also, you probably saw this, and this is according to Variety and just general news, I guess. The Incredible Hulk is now on Disney Plus. So apparently the rights are reverted of that movie, which came out in 2009.
Oh, yes.
Back to Disney, and that's why it's there.
Also, the Hulk in the Hulk, just that movie or the Hulk?
We don't know.
Okay,
At least that movie, yes.
Okay, because for people who don't know, it's partially owned by the Hulk as a character is partially owned by Universal.
Distribution-wise.
Yeah, right. So which is why the Hulk, which is why Marvel can't make a Hulk solo movie anymore.
Yes.
Which is why he was in Ragnarok.
And She-Hulk and whatever.
Yeah.
That's right. And look, if you want to learn more about that,
do your own research.
Listen to our spin-off podcast, I was going to say.
Oh, what's up with the Hulk or whatever?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know for sure. I mean, if somebody could let us know. It's just us in a room going, damn, we don't know anything about this.
Isn't there somebody that we could reach out to? But we don't have anyone.
I don't have anyone.
Wow. Maybe they changed Secret Wars to Planet Hulk or something. I don't know.
They could.
Another guy. Yeah. Another guy's here.
They could bring in the Beyonder, who's that cosmic guy.
Oh, didn't they have him? Was he in Love and Thunder?
No, that's Eternity.
Oh, no, that's Eternity. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to all you big Eternity heads out there.
That's right. You turn heads. All the turn heads out there. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, there's still a raft of cosmic characters they could just be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, cool, man. Christopher Nolan has apparently received. That's it.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's received a new scarf from his wife for his birthday and he's loving it.
He absolutely is. Do you reckon he gets...
Darling, this is simply divine.
Do you reckon he gets given scarves? It's like, another scarf. I don't even like scarves. It's like a dad getting a tie.
Yeah. Or like a kid saying they like horses and their auntie gives them a horse.
A horse?
Oh, no, a horse. A horse every year. That's right. I was going to correct myself, but no, a horse every year. They're like, we live in an apartment. Stop giving us horses.
Every year. He has received a 7-figure check as a sign of good faith from Warner Brothers.
Don't cash that for a few years. Don't cash that until they're out of their various
Do you reckon
woes.
they told him that? They were like, listen, this will be good in a few years.
Just give me a couple of years.
We're going to wait for the DCEU.
Yeah. I got. Don't worry. We got a lot of money coming in. Don't worry about it, but just if you could.
This is my wedding ring. You hang on to that. If I'm not good at it, you can sell it. So their partnership with Warner Brothers started in 2003 and went right up to Tenet. But of course, that fractured and fell apart because in 2020 or whatever it was, they put all their, or 21, I don't know. They put all their movies on.
It's irrelevant and we're not
Who cares?
We're not going to think about it anymore.
They put all their movies on streaming day and date because of the pandemic, and he went, well, that's uncouth and rude.
That's
and
right.
And he threw his scarf over his shoulder
That's right.
and he waltzed out of the office.
Yes, I bid you adieu.
Yeah. So,
And normally I wouldn't lower myself to saying adieu.
so
Or would he?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think he would speak French casually.
Yeah. So he went to, I want to say Paramount, but it might not be. He went somewhere else for Oppenheimer. And so Warner Brothers have been trying to lure him back. So this 7-figure royalty check.
They've got a scarf and a box with a stick. And they're going to get him. Oh.
Apparently,
Paisley scarf, you say?
the
I appear to be trapped.
the bonus was made in good faith after Tenet underperformed at the box office during its September 2020 release.
Okay. So a 7-figure check to him personally.
Yeah.
Does that make up to him the fact that his movie probably didn't do as well at the box office?
No, I think they just want him to come back.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, how does he feel about that, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know. It's a great question.
He got $1 million.
He doesn't care. Yeah. Apparently, he's also done a bunch of the Oppenheimer post-production work on the Warner Brothers lot.
Okay.
So that says something, if not nothing.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, don't you think?
Maybe he just wants to blow up a bunch of stuff on the Warner Brothers lot.
That's cool.
Yeah. He wants to blow up one of those Warner Brothers merch stores. He wants to see a bunch of Tasmanian devil boxer shorts fly up in the wind.
They said Gotham Knights is cancelled.
Yeah.
We weren't sure whether it was going to be Superman and Lois or Gotham Knights.
But that's been renewed. Superman and Lois, it's back.
Well, it's been renewed for season 4, and it's probably the final season, but several of the actors are not returning as season regulars, including the characters of Lana Lane, Superman, Henry Irons, General Sam Lane.
Oh, Henry Irons is not coming back. That's a shame.
Yeah, he was good. I should go back to that show that I like.
He was good. So, General Lane, how are they going to...
I don't know.
I mean,
they say series regulars, so...
Oh, okay, there'll be occasional.
It sounds like it's probably cost cutting, I assume.
It's probably Costco's fault.
Typical.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, writers, as well, by the way.
That's right. Thanks, writers and Costco. It's your $1 hot dogs that have done this, Costco, somehow. Well, and also, my one critique of Superman and Lois is they haven't put Henry Irons in like the proper steel costume.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I want to see, because he's always had that sort of
Mech.
battle
Halo
suit kind of
suit,
thing. Yeah, but I want to see him in the cape with the riveted S on the front. I think that'd be cool.
That would be riveting.
And then he'd be like, he doesn't need a helmet, he's got a, yes, okay. Oh, I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good.
Go on, though.
And then maybe he doesn't have to wear the helmet. It'll be like, he's got a force field or whatever. And that would be riveting.
Yeah, or he doesn't. That would be riveting. Or he doesn't.
Thanks, Clark. This is riveting, I'd say.
So, yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, goodbye, Gotham Knights. We hardly knew you.
Yeah.
And your protagonist, Chad Krogley, whatever his name is.
Apparently, it did okay. Like, it got people were watching it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But again, they're gutting the CW to turn it into MILF Island or whatever they're doing.
They are doing that, yes.
And the last bit of news, but this is going to go more into our review of The Flash. Andy Muschietti, who directed The Flash, is going to be, it's confirmed that he's directing Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is a Tim Drake Batman story, presumably set in the daytime.
Wait, so it's a Batman and Robin story? Or
Not
what?
Tim Drake, Batman and Damian Wayne.
Oh, okay,
story.
Batman and Son story. Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah, that could be fun. But I think that we'll get into The Flash and then we'll talk about that, don't you think?
Yes.
Do you have any more news?
Maybe later.
Oh! The Flash, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
On a budget of about $220 million. And that's not...
Probably more.
Probably more.
Way more.
Seeing as they announced in this iteration
Yes.
in like 2014 maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right?
Yeah.
So let's say, in the past 3 to 4 years, however long it took to make this, it's about $220 million and then additional marketing budgets and paying Tom Cruise to say things about your movie or whatever's happening. I don't know. Box office numbers they're not great. They're okay, but something like this, you want it to be bigger. So it's going to have about a 70 million US opening. It's
mystifying.
You mean as in you don't know?
I don't know what that's bad-ish
well,
for a blockbuster.
For
right?
like a blockbuster with like Batman and the Flash and Supergirl and whatever. Yeah, you want it to be bigger than that.
That's true.
But that being said, at time of recording, there's no like official numbers for this, so we'll just wait and see. Okay. So Mason, it's been 10 years after Man of Steel for us and also maybe in the movie.
That's true.
That's crazy. We've come to the end of the DC Extended Universe, which is not its name. The Snyderverse, I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is officially the end. What do you think the story was?
Oh, all right. So, James, a young hero makes a choice and he brings with it the terrors of the multiverse. But enough about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Whoa!
But it's the same plot, but it's The Flash.
Yeah. And?
I liked it.
Okay. I'll say this, Mason.
Yes.
What a hollow and ghoulish product.
The whole thing, you think?
What a fucking nightmare. Yuck.
Well,
that's what I say, Mason, to this movie.
What I say is there's a lot working against this movie.
Including all the things in it.
Both the things in the movie and also everything surrounding the movie in the real world. Here's a few examples.
Sure.
Some of the visual effects shots look like a PS3 game.
Yeah.
And I think Andy Muschietti has said, well, some of those are deliberate.
We'll talk about it because a lot of those are in spoilers.
2, it's multiversal, and this is like in the last 2 years, how many multiverse projects have there been?
4 or 5,
including one last week or whenever Across the Spider-Verse came out. Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home, as we mentioned.
Also, they're all better than this.
I see.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that's working against it. All the weird out-of-context clips that leaked on social media and all the spoilers, like of cameos and stuff that people were like...
Some of them they just revealed also.
Yeah.
Like as part of marketing.
The thing you mentioned, the universe is essentially over, or is it? It is, but it isn't.
It's also kind of vague and up in the air.
How many of these characters are coming back? How many of these actors are coming back?
Yep.
And also, Ezra Miller is a maniac on a crime spree. They've been doing this for years. Maybe DC is funding that, which has added to the budget.
And that definitely didn't help for me watching this movie, seems as there's 2 of them the entire time.
Oh, yes. And folks, Ezra Miller is in 95% of the scenes of this movie.
Yep.
And
you can see why they didn't scrap it or whatever.
The 5% of the scenes that they're not in are made up for the fact that in most of the scenes they are in it twice. So if the idea of Ezra Miller as a human being makes your skin crawl, you shouldn't see this movie.
I mean, just the idea that and this is another thing that I think for me is working against it, which isn't an in-universe thing that I just find absolutely just baffling to me, is that Warner Brothers never came out and said literally fucking anything. Or if they did, it was vague and like, well, it's important for mental health and whatever. There wasn't a moment 3 or 4 years ago or whatever before they filmed this movie when there's footage of a woman being like,
choked
to the ground. And that's one of the things that is confirmed. And there's a bunch of stuff that hasn't been. And they've just not said anything. Even to come out and go, we don't condone that. And we want them to be better. And look, we have faith in this movie and the people that are in it and we're moving forward. Even that. But just nothing? You fucking kidding me?
Let's get Stephen King to say this is the best movie he's ever seen.
Here's the thing, right?
Yes.
So James Gunn said, because he said that he loved it, right? Which to me is baffling.
Interesting.
Because I trust his judgment in movies and I love his movies.
I tell you why I think he said that.
I think I know why
One,
too.
because he's the boss of the DCEU and he has to say it at this point. He wouldn't be like, no, it's actually bad now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But it's not my fault because I didn't have anything to do with it. I was being fired from something else at the time.
Maybe I feel like there is some threads in this M product which have been worked in.
It has an emotional core to it, and I think whether that works or not for you, and it doesn't for you, that is what James Gunn is all about, I think.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably and he enjoys sort of off-kilter stuff with an emotional core, and that's kind of what this is.
There is a lot of that
and
in
I
this,
think it's, especially if he is the guy who has to. He's the Kevin Feige now of this. He's going to have to say that he. But I can understand his thought process of looking at this thing, and even if he didn't like it, going, what can I salvage out of this? What can I look? I can look at this and go, what could I like about this? And here it is.
Sure, I totally get that. Also, I know that he saw this a year ago, and if I saw this a year ago, I would watch this and go, this is clearly unfinished, but I get it. I get what you're going for. And if you put a number of steps in place to just visually improve this movie, this is like a 40% better movie because the stuff that they do in it with those visuals is just made my fucking soul hurt, Mason.
Okay.
Do
you mean
like the homages?
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you mean from just a visual perspective, or do you mean like ethically?
Both.
Okay,
all of
right.
it. All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, a year ago, this is fine as a rough cut of a movie.
Right. Okay.
And
so
obviously,
you think they should have worked on it more?
Maybe.
Okay.
Give it another 10 years. But since then also, there's clearly been like obvious edits and face replacement and line replacement. And there's scenes with Ezra Miller where, so when there's two Ezra Millers in this movie, one of them has a fake face and it's really noticeable. And I know not everybody's affected by this, but every time there was two of them on screen and they're in the same shot, I would say 95% of the time, one of them is not there. And I know what they've done. They've filmed with somebody else as a stand-in.
Yeah.
And then they've CGI'd the face on. Like, I know that, but I feel like there would have been a way to do this that it doesn't look just horrendous.
Ezra Miller filming it twice, for example.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand when you've got like camera movements, like that is a difficult thing to do, and it's great. It's complicated. I get why they did it this way, but it does not look good to me.
Interesting.
Like it was really baffling and upsetting. And sometimes they'd swap, so the one that was up close was the upsetting one.
There is also, just plot-wise, there's an element of the characters switching costumes as well.
Yeah.
So if you're initially confused by who is who, at one point the second Barry Allen Flash is suddenly wearing the costume of the prime Barry Allen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people are like, I've lost it. I've lost it now. I don't know which is which anymore. Because their distinguishing feature is their hair.
The hair, yeah.
Because and once they're in costume, it's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't find that. Like, I was always able to kind of like distinguish.
Oh, look at this guy.
I know.
Mr. Observant over here.
Mr. Observant over here, yeah. But I think also, look, in terms of Andy Muschietti as a director, I like his movies. I like the It movies. The second one less so, but the first one I really, really like. But I also think this is probably a credit to him for putting it together even this much. I feel like this is a Blade 3 situation.
Yeah, right.
Where every component of this movie is bad. And yet it's like it is... There are compelling elements to this narrative. Compellements. And there are good performances. And there are even like good cameos and things in it and good little moments that not just Michael Keaton go, remember the time I said this thing or whatever. I think there are actual moments in this.
You know what? I'll give this movie credit
I like the
for.
jet, the bit in the middle of the jet spins. There's the thing I like.
I didn't like that. Anyway, what I enjoyed about this is that without comparing it too much to anything else that came before that is quite similar, Spider-Man No Way Home, they at the very least gave that character, the Keaton's Batman, like somewhat of an evolution of the character. They didn't just go, oh, this character's trapped in Amber. He didn't do anything since 1992 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw some...
He's in a cupboard.
Yeah, that's right.
He was hiding in a cupboard.
He was hiding in a cupboard for 30 years.
If you haven't seen it, you think I'm joking? I'm not joking.
We'll
do big spoilers later,
we'll
by
do
the
big
way.
spoilers, but I was going to say there's an element... I saw on Twitter some people saying, well, he doesn't really share that many elements with the Batman from his previous movies. But there is a moment in it where you see him, it's after one of their battles, and he's like stitching one of his wounds with a fish hook. Like he's fishing about, and he looks at himself in the mirror and he goes like, and it's like, that is the exact look that he gave that time that he stuffed a bomb down a clown's pants and kicked him into a storm drain and he exploded. Like that psychopath.
Yep.
That particular Keaton Batman psychopath. And I'm like, no, it's good to see that go back, honestly.
I agree. And I think also if you're like, this doesn't feel like the original Keaton one, which I think it does. It's technically not him.
It is. You're right.
It's pretty much him, but it's the convergence of timelines, and they explain it with spaghetti, means that.
And if you think we're joking, we're not. It's after he comes out of the cupboard.
This is a version of that Batman who's pretty much the same, but he's always existed in this universe, as opposed to the Ben Affleck Batman, who has a weird bulldog cowl.
I quite liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
Just a real gruff squish.
Here's the thing that I liked about this movie is I thought that there is some quite good just superheroes teaming up stuff. Towards the start especially. I reckon less towards the end, I think, which is the pointy end where it maybe should be better. But I think towards the start we see like the flat, like, because, you know, we've got the Ben Affleck Batman and he's off doing big time crime fighting, and I like the idea that he's just he's sending the Flash off as like this janitor to do stuff to sort of
knock down a hospital.
Yeah,
to
do the cleanup. I thought that was fun, but then they do some, I did do some little team. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, and and again we talk about this all the time, but it's a shame that Ben Affleck Batman never really got a proper solo Batman movie because he's good.
He is good.
And I think his this new look he has that he'll never have again because we'll never see him again.
Oh, maybe.
The blue-grey suit.
Who knows? So I don't think in a movie of this budget I've ever seen worse-looking CGI people in anything. And like this is maybe it's a slightly unfair comparison, but this is some like Scorpion King shit. Like
I know. I saw that comparison on Twitter earlier.
My goodness. And here's a quote from Andy Muschietti who says that...
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
He says, because a lot of...
he said sorry.
A lot of the times when you see the CGI people, and not always, but because there's a second Ezra Miller running around this movie who looks horrendous. But again, not everybody...
Oh no, there's a second Ezra Miller.
Not everybody noticed or was bothered by that, which is fine. He said that the idea, of course, is that we are in the perspective of the Flash. Everything is distorted in terms of light and textures. We've entered this water world, which is basically being in Barry's POV. It was part of the design, so if it looks a little weird to you, that was intended. I don't believe you. The design choice was, let's make this look like the Polar Express. I do not believe you. And even with, you ran out of time. You ran out of money. Totally. That can happen. I would 100% accept
They gave that check to Christopher Nolan, so they ran out of money.
You might be right, yeah. But and if you're saying it's stylized, and I know he's protecting his movie, I get that. If you're saying it's stylized, you don't want to stylize it in a way that's not this.
If you were going to make a deliberate stylistic choice, you might be like, okay, well, these faces look like this, but they've been flashified. They're like got some lightning around them or something like that,
Yeah, there's a moment when he first travels through time and you see like all the time kind of rolls back in kind of a bubble.
Yeah, they've invented a sort of a new time travel mechanic.
And I don't hate the idea of that, and it's an interesting kind of visual.
I liked it. To me, it felt like a throwback to your Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Sure,
famously a storyline that we both love.
That's right.
Comic books. Yeah,
but within that, you pass like events from the DCEU that have happened. Like you see like Captain Boomerang, you see a bunch of others. I can't remember whatever. And
Just Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, well, like Superman's in there and whatever. And they're very CGI. And that I'm like, no, but it was fine because they're kind of still frames and you're passing them. But when you're seeing them moving and doing things.
CGI Ron Livingston, for example.
Yeah, exactly. I guess he's from a different universe than Billy Crudup or whatever. But, well, let's talk about that because there's emotional stakes in this movie.
Yes.
And I don't know whether it is the Ezra Miller thing, but I didn't feel a single thing.
So the actual plot is that...
It's the Flash season 1.
It is the Flash season 1, but if you haven't even seen the Flash season 1 on the CW, probably available now on CW Now app or something. The Flash's mother was killed when he was a child.
By who?
Well, I was going to say that's probably for spoilers.
Yeah, it is.
But and so now he has his powers. He's like, well, what if I could go back in time? He discovers he can go back in time. He's like, well, what if I just changed a little thing and prevented my mother from being killed? Oh, and his father is on the hook for the murder because everybody thinks he did it. And then my mother will still be alive. But in doing that, his mother is alive, but it's changed. It's altered the trajectory of the world, and so there are no superheroes. And General Zod is coming to destroy the world, and he's like, "What am I going to do? No time for brunch. No time for brunch."
That's right.
But yeah, so the emotional...
And have to stop a very disinterested Michael Shannon.
That's right.
You probably saw the headlines this week that was just like, I didn't like making this. It was boring. Anyway, go on.
And when he said, I was in there for 2 weeks, again, I think he was in there for less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's some moments where, he's probably, he's in it.
Yes,
but
his head's in it.
There's very little of you. He's always got the shield up as well. Which I don't know whether is covering, like, if they needed to CGI him at certain points. But you know that weird holograph shield that he's got on. Yeah. And Fiora is maybe in this, that actor.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah. I think so.
But who's to say?
But were they ever in the same room? Absolutely not. But yeah, so obviously the emotional stake is, he's got what he wants. His mother's back. Yeah. But and a version of him has had the last decade with her. Yeah. But if this universe, he's got to find a way to save this universe from being destroyed, but also
Michael Keaton's here.
Also, Michael Keaton's here. He's in a cupboard the whole time. But but is that sacrifice going to involve his mother dying again?
Yeah.
And you didn't believe in any of that?
No. I
liked her.
Yeah, I thought she was good.
And Ron Livingston, I like all the time.
Again, I don't know whether this is like a real world. It's like a Jared Leto thing where it's just like, no, I will not. And because I think also Ezra Miller's performance in this is probably good. Like genuine. Being two of you is hard and whatever. It's probably good.
Yeah. Michael Keaton knows he was in Multiplicity.
That's right. He would know, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, right?
Go on.
There's an action sequence at the start.
Yes.
Where the Flash saves a bunch of babies, and it's kind of a comical, kind of farcical, Looney Tunes kind of situation.
Yes.
And I think that's a fun idea.
I thought it was a fun idea too.
But are those horrible babies? Is that also stylized? I guess they're in the Speed Force.
Yeah.
Horrible to look at. Yeah. Horrible looking dog. Just horrible.
Yeah, look,
around.
I like the sequence, and like you said,
I also thought that, this is the bad bit people were talking about. That's nowhere near the worst looking thing in this movie.
Yeah. If people haven't seen it and they're not planning on seeing it, you might have seen a leaked piece of footage on Twitter. It looks like the Flash is putting a baby in a microwave, and that's actually reversed footage. He's taking a baby out of a microwave that he earlier put in a microwave. But I like the sequence. I thought it was there's a fun joke. Because they've added the mechanic, which was never really in the previous movies, where he needs energy to operate. Yeah. And he's got a little meter on his suit. And so,
calories.
Which I think, it's sort of, I think that's useful because it takes out of the idea of he can do anything forever, and he has ultimate power because he can move at the speed of light, etc.
Apparently, the original version of this, which with the guys who made Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of it was going to be focused around that element of it. Yeah.
But there's a funny misdirect joke, which to me felt very much. If you remember that Simpsons episode where Homer's like, "These wieners will give me the strength I need." You know that?
Well, he's running from the dogs.
Yeah, he's running from the dogs. I thought that was a fun misdirect. I thought that was a good bit. But you're absolutely right. The babies never look like real babies at any point.
No.
So I think. I don't know. I for whatever reason, I was willing to push through that a lot of the CGI in this is bad.
Yeah.
So
until the people. Same. For that, I was like, okay, whatever, really,
Because I also thought the rest of the action, I thought the concept was good in that sequence.
I think the concept for most of this is
good. Yeah, that's the thing about it. And I think, I guess it's like, it felt to me like, again, I've felt the same way with Quantumania, where it's like, the idea of picking up a comic book, if all this was in a comic book, like a single issue, I picked it up, I don't know what's going on, I just open it up, and I go, oh, Flash has got to save all these babies, and he's doing, that's a bit of fun kind of thing. And sometimes that works for people in real life, and sometimes it doesn't, I guess. And for you, absolutely not.
Absolutely not, for most of it. I also think the running is probably just not better than what's been done in the CW. But I also think with something like the running, and if you're doing Flashpoint and the mother's dying and whatever, how do you even distinguish that from something that's been like, it's just the story that you're doing. And like, so the running is like, it's all right, I guess, you know? But I think we're at the point where we've seen so much fast comic book stuff. Like we've seen it slow-mo, we've seen it super fast, we've seen various coloured lightnings and smokes when people are moving about Morbius. So it's not interesting, really. There's not an interesting way to do that. Maybe the bit where their feet went together.
Oh, yeah. There was
when they fought in that big grey field.
Yeah. What I appreciated as well.
Which I loved.
Yeah, I know. We know you loved it. I guess what I did appreciate is that we saw the distinction between the Barry Allen of now and the Barry Allen of back then, and there's sort of an acknowledgement that the present day one is less annoying than the original version. I like the fact that he's better at running. Yeah, I don't know. It's you know,
that is good.
The problem there, of course, is that, and it's a problem with a lot of superhero movies, but it feels very prominent in this, is that we've had an evolution of the character, but we didn't see the evolution. Like he was a goof in Justice League.
Which one?
Both.
More 2017.
More 2017.
Wait, so I think,
but then in the present day one, it's clearly he's better at superheroing, and you know he's competent and he knows what he's doing, and he's this Barry Allen is good enough at superheroing that he can talk to his previous version and go, here's how you do this, and here's how you do this, and here's how you phase, and you just have to save one person and blah blah blah. But we never saw that. Yeah. Like there's a big gap where he clearly learned to do all that. Yeah. And in an ideal world, we would maybe get another movie or something, you know, that fills in that time, but we're never going to get that, obviously.
Just jump to Flashpoint.
Just jump to Flash. Well, and that's another problem is, of course, that there's more than one Flash story.
Yeah. And I mean, name another one, but no, you're right. Of course there is.
Yeah. But, you know, the idea that they've done this so many times, they've done it in animated, they've done it on the TV series, and it's just another kind of, it's an epic multiverse and everything's at stake here kind of thing.
And boy, was it.
Sure was.
But also it was more like this particular world is at stake.
Yeah.
And who cares? That was another thing, because about this world, and they're like, well, Flash, why would you save this particular world? And he's like, well, my mother's here or whatever. But I'm also like, why would you, this one? Who cares?
Yeah.
1 billion of these.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I guess this is the only one that looks slightly real. So here's something I like.
Go on.
Michael Keaton, there's a moment where they get on a little elevator platform and he's to escape, and he pulls that little tape measure. Yeah. And it's like that bit with Vicky Vale when he's like, how much do you weigh or whatever. It's that. It's just Batman just doing some little on-the-fly calculations.
He's got all these technologies from the 80s, which I really appreciate.
That was great. Yeah. And there's another moment where a guy walks out in front of him like a Russian thug, and Batman goes to make him flinch. Yeah. Batman does like he's gonna. That I genuinely thought was great. Really, really good. But I don't know whether I like this or not, but I don't know. This Batman cannot move like this.
Right, yeah,
but whatever. That's comic book
stuff. They sort of lampshade it because there's a line in it where there's a scene in the trailer where he leaps down and he does some very Ben Affleck Batman, like leaping about and grabbing a guy on a grappling hook and flipping him into the air and dropping him on the ground and then beating up a bunch of guys. And there's a moment where he's like, oh, this is going to hurt. Like he clearly knows that this is he doesn't have a lot of this in him kind of thing, which I quite like.
Yeah, okay, fair
enough. Again, the Batman elements are not the Batman elements are not the problem with this movie. There's no problems in this movie. Just kidding. There's a bunch. Also, and here's the thing that I don't like about this. This absolutely puts an end to the idea that there might in one day be a Batman Beyond movie where there's a young protege of Batman being the new Batman and Bruce Wayne is in it, because they've just done all these beats with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a chance that they could make that movie.
Right.
I mean, and I guess there might have been elements of that even in the Batgirl movie, which he was in, which is gone.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, just the fact that they put him in this, like if they brought him back and went, and now he's future Batman, it's like doing another Terminator. It's like this is the 6th Terminator 3 movie that you've made.
Also, I don't think he wants to.
No, he probably wouldn't.
Keaton is having more fun than I thought he would be based on the trailers.
Yeah.
Like he looks kind of like he's phoning it in some of the trailers, but in this, it feels like, you know.
when you get outside of the let's get nuts and whatever, he's trying.
Yes, that's true, yes. And that's all we can hope for veteran actors who are in the movie Multiplicity.
And we saw his car and that's it.
That's true.
Would have been nice to, drive the car. Wow. Spoilers if you wanted to see the car drive. I also thought...
spoilers on the car.
Sasha Calle was a really good Supergirl.
We've learned her name's pronounced like that, by the way. Yeah.
But it's not in it enough, I feel like. Like, the suit looks great.
Yeah.
Like, the rivalry that's set up between her and Zod I liked, and the reason that they're going head-to-head I thought was good. She looks convincing as Supergirl. I think it's a bit rushed in terms of, like, discovering her and then that turnaround and then her having a handle on the powers and all of that. That timeline doesn't really work, I guess, but she's good. And I think she would be good in that Supergirl movie that they're making. I think you could easily put her in and she'd probably do a good job.
For sure.
I don't know whether they're going to, but I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
What else can we talk about that's non-spoiler in this movie?
I like the Flash suit. I think it's pretty good.
I do as well, yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure whether I'd like the piping that kind of lights up, but that's good. I also think it's not a terrible idea to change the Flashpoint comic in terms of, like, in the comic it's Thomas Wayne, so you'd get because Thomas Wayne is in Batman v Superman.
So you'd get Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah. Would I like to see that movie? Probably.
Yeah.
And that's got an interesting, because it's got, like, the Atlanteans versus the Amazons. So it's Wonder Woman versus Aquaman.
Yeah.
And that whole concept.
But Jeffrey Dean Morgan as a new Batman would be thrilling to some people, like comic book readers.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be it's not a draw for people who remember the 80s and 90s Keaton
But
Batman.
I also don't think that Keaton is a draw at this point. Because it's people our age and older, really, or if you're fans of this stuff. And I think it could be the same problem with Indiana Jones. And if you look at, like, the numbers for the weekend, it's not like this got a huge boost because of Keaton.
I think you're right, and I think they were probably hoping for something akin to a Spider-Man No Way
Yeah,
Home.
definitely.
The problem there, of course, is that
movie's relatively new. Like, the last Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire one was like 2007.
exactly people like Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Garfield's still popular as well.
Yeah, and but he hates Mondays.
But also Andrew Garfield is still popular.
Oh, he's popular too. Yeah.
So I think maybe what they were going for here, they may have left it too late to kind of cash in on.
Yeah, those two are still in the zeitgeist and people still watch those.
And some of the cameos I feel that they put in this, which we'll talk about in spoilers, if you don't know that, you'd be like, that's why it'd be weird.
Look,
I know.
Yeah.
But
see, that's the thing. I think if you like this movie more, I think some of those cameos. See, some of the cameos I liked, and some of them I'm like, some cameos I liked, some I were indifferent to. One in particular, I'm like, oh, that's awful. You shouldn't have put that in. It's probably not the one you think, but it's the other one you think.
Maybe, but they all look bad.
They do all look bad, but I think there is one cameo in there. But I think if you like this movie more, if the visual effects were better. There was no Ezra Miller in it.
Yeah.
All the external factors. I think you might have seen that one particular cameo and gone, a bit of fun reference.
Sure.
Fun reference for the people who remember that story.
Yeah, you might be right. I also think genuinely, like, it being 10 years of this universe and the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Like, tying it back to, like, tying Flashpoint to Man of Steel. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think you're staying within this timeline if you've been following it. It's a lot of this is kind of like a reward for keeping up.
Yes,
being
that's
like,
right.
Well, you know Ben Affleck, you know this and that.
Except the Snyderverse fans hate it, apparently. So they're taking that reward and they're spitting it in everyone's face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyways, before we do spoilers, best, worst movie ever.
Look, I'm going to say with a bunch of caveats that I said, I'm going to say best movie ever.
Yep.
Had a pretty fun time at the movies. Yeah. There you go.
I'm going to say bad.
Whoa.
I did not like this, despite a lot of the elements in it I did enjoy. But just, it got worse for me as it went. Like, it just kind of, like, piled on top of things I didn't like until the end, where it just culminated in, like, in some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. So that's why the cameo specifically.
So you're going to say worst movie ever?
No, Mason, I loved it. It was really good.
Then now it's canon. Two best movies ever. Okay, so now we're in spoilers?
Okay, so...
James, you have to say it.
What?
Whether it's the best movie ever.
It's the worst movie ever.
Okay, there we go, finally.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
so we're in spoilers. Big time spoiler time, folks. Time for spoilers. What's your first spoiler?
My first spoiler is that nobody cares about this, but they save Barry Allen's father from prison by making him look up when he's in the supermarket, so you catch his face on the security footage. So that means it's proved that he didn't kill his mother because he was at the supermarket.
Yes.
But But by the time Barry Allen runs downstairs, he sees his father holding a knife in his mother, and the mother is maybe just freshly dead, if not a little bit alive.
Yeah.
So he could have got home from the shops and stabbed her.
Oh, exactly right. Because
and there's no resolution. Who did it?
Barry Allen's father is coming. He gets out of the car with the tomatoes, and then he hears his mother, I think, scream.
Yeah.
So he could have very easily come in and you're absolutely right. That was crazy. So traditionally,
I mean, it's a different universe, I guess.
Yes, that's right. He could have very easily done it. I'm thinking he was supposed to have heard her, like her last dying breath or something, and that's why he comes in. But it sounds like she's screaming because she's being murdered like that second. Yeah. And that's why he comes in.
And it's the reverse flash or whatever normally, right?
Yeah, so traditionally, so it's
and if there was a sequel to this, I guess maybe they'd mention that.
Yeah, so traditionally, it's one of the reverse flashes who has gone back in time to kill Barry Allen's mother because he's like, tragedy makes you a better superhero.
Damn.
And although traditionally, Barry Allen's parents are just not mentioned. Like this is a fairly new.
If you love tradition, that's the one you should hold in your heart.
That's the one you should hold in your heart. And so the villain of this, in addition to Zod and maybe Fiora if she's in this, is Barry Allen himself, who becomes a reverse Flash of a sort.
Yes, that's right. For a minute.
For a minute. So they end up in this new world where there's no superheroes, and the young Barry Allen, the Batman and Supergirl are defeated. They're killed, and the young Barry Allen's like, well, we could just go back in time and fix it again, and he keeps doing this over and over and over again until he's
filled with shrapnel,
filled with Kryptonian shrapnel, and he's become this reverse Flash monster creature, which I quite liked, like design-wise.
Yeah,
and
the
CG
his
is not
face
good.
looked bad.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Because it was like an old man filter.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's this universe's reverse Flash, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
the bit where he kind of runs down through the Speed Force and like shoves him out. It felt like, oh, that's a bit spooky.
That felt very Andy Machete. It felt like, okay, there's this
someone else
beast haunting the Speed Force. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah. I guess before we get into the spoilers of all the cameos and the reversing of time.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman is in this also briefly.
Dun, 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 dun.
And they just do the lasso of truth joke.
Again, yes.
From the bad Justice League movie.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
But also...
Because that's not canon anymore. No, it is.
No, but it might be.
Yeah, it is.
Because I can't remember specifically, but there's some things in this that they talk about. I think because Ben Affleck's Batman talks to Barry about reversing time. And I don't know whether he does it maybe he does it in Justice League 2017, but he definitely does it.
He does it in the Snyder Cut,
Yeah, for he goes back like 10 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
So
and Batman, you're right. And Batman says there's a difference between going back in time 10 seconds and going back years. You're absolutely right.
But there might be a moment in 20sebteen where that happens, and I don't
think there is. I think
we'll never know.
We'll never know because we'll never go back. We're done. This universe is over. What's another? So also,
tell me where Morrison is in it.
Yeah, I think the timeline works out because I guess the first time you see that reverse Flash, he's pushing Barry out of the timeline, into the past.
So that can happen.
So that the loop happens and he gives past Barry Allen his powers, right?
Yeah.
What do you get a tooth knocked out? What's going on there?
I don't. A joke for the end.
That was a
for
joke.
the big reveal that we all knew somehow. That we all figured out.
Well, we got told.
Yeah.
We got given a scoop.
Did we really?
Yeah, we got that scoop.
Don't even remember that.
All right.
Well, it's good to ruin something for everybody.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. So when the Batman dies twice.
Keaton Batman.
And the second time, he somehow knows. He's like, no, this is probably it for me. Just don't. I can't. I'm tired. My leg.
Yeah.
How does he know that it's over? Did he measure time with his little tape measure?
Yes.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, stop saving me. Like, how would you even know that?
That's true. And also, if I can be critical, James, if you'll allow me to be... James, if you could settle down with your effusive praise for this movie and let me be critical for a second.
Yeah.
Supergirl and Batman stories just... They're just gone.
Yeah.
That universe is done. He's like, I guess everybody's dead in this universe.
Yep.
And sure, like going back, I guess when he goes back in time and he changes stuff so this universe doesn't exist anymore, I guess.
That's all wiped.
It's all wiped clean, but there was the reverse Flash version of this guy, like condemned them to death thousands of times.
Well, yeah, he was pretty old.
Yeah.
So maybe more. He's like, I think I nearly figured it out.
Yeah.
You haven't. What are you
haven't.
doing?
That's
Stop
right.
doing this.
Get some kryptonite.
You've got
Find some kryptonite,
yeah.
idiot.
You've got so much shrapnel in you.
Yeah. I would have found some kryptonite.
I would have found less shrapnel.
Wow.
So anyway, so they decide to reverse time together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the worst thing I've ever seen happens, Mason. So there's all these cameos appear from across the history of the DC comics and universes and movies that have made and have not been made, which I guess is a homage. But as a homage, yuck. Disgusting.
Here's a few. Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash, played by some guy for 1 second.
Yeah, it's not Teddy Sears. People think it's Teddy Sears. People think that was a nod to the Flash TV series. Mm-hmm. There isn't one in this. Yeah. Maybe there's a secret one that hasn't been found yet at time of recording. But the fact
you don't get John Wesley shit.
Yeah, you don't want to have a nod to that show.
Grant Gustin.
At all.
You don't want Grant Gustin?
Ezra Miller was in that show.
He was in that show.
That's wild to me. You don't even want to just see it on a screen.
He would have been like, oh, it's that guy. I met that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That show ran so this movie could run awfully.
That's right. What else? Who else? Who do we want to mention?
George Reeves.
Killed himself.
Yep.
That's the one that I found not good. You didn't have to put that in. You didn't have to put not Brandon Routh.
No. Well, yeah.
Not
Tom Welling.
Tom Welling would have been great. Nice
Dean Cain.
No, that's fine. You don't have to put him in.
Adam West is in it.
Yep.
Nicolas Cage is in it.
See, that's the one I think if this were a better movie, it'd be like, finally, we get the payoff from the Kevin Smith story.
If this was a better movie, Nicolas Cage would have actually been in it, and there would have been some interaction, and it wasn't just glowing orbs fucking crashing into each other with like horrible looking people in them. This should be a movie where you're actually interacting with other things. You're not just watching them like you're watching a TV.
James, I am watching a TV. I'm watching a TV right now, aren't I?
Do you know what I mean?
I'm watching a YouTube clip of a man giving effusive praise to the Flash movie.
Also, like, nobody knows that. The Nicolas Cage spider thing?
People do. See, that's the thing.
People like us know. Normal people don't know that.
Normal people like us know, and I like that one. I'm giving
No,
him
I like it, but I don't like the execution of it. He doesn't even say anything.
He doesn't say anything.
like, what version is it? Because the Kevin Smith version has the giant spider, but he never cast anybody. The Tim Burton version has Nicolas Cage with the long hair and the suit.
Yes.
So it's a combination of the two. But also in that movie, at the end in the concept art, Superman has cut his hair. So he doesn't have... So I guess this is an alternate version of it, which is a blending of...
James, well, yeah, obviously, James, you've answered your own question, but the answer is they've built that CGI model from the one still photo of Nicolas Cage they had.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, and I know they would have had to like license his likeness.
Yes.
But you don't want to pay him some money because he would do it. He would absolutely do it.
Yeah. Also, for people who don't know, Kevin Smith look, normal people would know. But if you don't know, Kevin Smith told a story once. He was hired to do some rewrites on the Superman Lives script.
And he ended up just scrapping the original one.
Yeah, he ended up scrapping it completely. But the producer, John Peters, who worked on the Tim Burton Batman movies, gave him 3 rules for writing Superman, which was... I don't want to see him in that old suit.
Yep.
I don't want to see him fly, and he has to fight a giant spider in the 3rd act.
And the giant spider made its way into Wild Wild West.
But apparently, I learned this recently, that was already in the script before John Peters produced that movie.
Oh my God.
There was already a giant... Maybe he was like, what, there's a giant spider? I'm on board.
100%. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, of course, the other cameo, which I found just horrendous, was the Christopher Reeve Helen Slater cameo.
Superman, 1970s Superman and 80s Supergirl.
We covered Supergirl recently, and they're in the same universe. So she's alive, by the way.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
They fly in.
She was in the Supergirl series.
She's
in the CW.
There's a series of videos that started about 12 years ago on YouTube, and somebody made...
Mr. Sunday Movies?
Yeah, it was me. Superman versus the Hulk. And
Okay.
it's CGI, and it's the Chris Reeves version.
Yeah.
It looks... Like, that looks better than this. I cannot believe... They did not just get footage of him. Why would you do it like this?
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? Surely there's enough existing footage of him.
I know that. They put Marlon fucking Brando in Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Like 10 years after he died or whatever. Like, you cannot tell me that this was not possible.
Yeah. Also, he should have gotten Ben Affleck as George Reeves in Hollywoodland.
That would make more sense to me.
No, it would make less sense. But
you know what it looked like?
Yes.
It looked like, the old DC introduction, which they didn't use for this.
Yeah.
And when I say old, I mean the one that they started maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We see
with a bunch of characters they never used.
never see their faces.
Yeah.
It looked like It had the fidelity and the texture of that. And those people didn't have faces, Mason.
During the CW Crisis on Infinite Earth, there was a bunch of scenes where they just got like the universe is exploding and they just got various characters to be like, what? It was that, basically.
I mean, that would have been better. Can you imagine also like the various Flashes running through these universes?
Yeah.
And like they run past like a real Nicolas Cage or Superman beating himself up in a junkyard in Superman 3. Just something.
Yeah.
Like you're watching orbs crash into each other.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, see, that's the thing as well, I think.
Are you kidding me, Mason?
I was kidding you this whole time, actually.
Oh, this is a joke?
Yeah, I made this. I made The Flash and I hide out the cinema.
I felt bad when I saw them. Like it made me feel bad. And this goes back to what I've been talking about before. Whenever I see dead people recreated in movies or people like made to look young, even when it's like Luke Skywalker.
What about Indiana Jones?
I haven't seen it yet. But it never makes me feel good.
Interesting.
It's either neutral to bad.
Is that because you're an empath?
Maybe I'm an empath. I
think it's probably
Maybe I
because you're an
feel
empath.
too much.
Yeah, that's probably it, yeah. Yeah, I think what it did for me, when I saw George Reeves and when I saw Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater, what it did for me is I was like, oh, imagine the adventures they would have had.
Yeah.
Like there was a moment of that, but then I'm like...
when they flew down next to each other.
Yeah, I'm like,
went,
oh
whoa.
man, wouldn't that be nice having them... What fun adventures.
Yeah.
So that was, I had a nice feeling some of the time.
I mean, imagine you get some footage from Batman 66
Nice.
and they're climbing up the building and two Flashes just run past.
That's right.
Or Batman's running around with a bomb and you just zip past.
Oh.
Like that is, and that's ghoulish, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but that's better than this, I feel,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion, Mason. Were these late additions to be like people are expecting cameos?
I think so, yeah.
They would have had to have been.
Now, here's the thing. The reason I don't feel that bad about the Christopher Reeve one is presumably his family signed off on it, I hope.
You'd
Unless
think so.
unless Warner Brothers owns his likeness rights forever somehow. So in which case I
could be
feel
true.
right. But I feel bad about George Reeves because George Reeves has he died with like no family.
Yeah.
So they're just like, who cares?
And like you said, he didn't just die. He killed himself.
Because he was typecast.
I know there's
and-
conspiracies and
Yeah,
whatever, but
yeah.
God damn. Yeah. Anyway, Clooney shows up.
That's right. As we knew he would.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like how he was small.
I liked how he was small and he didn't shave his beard. He's just like, whatever. I assume it's because, like Keaton, he's not Batman
not doing
anymore.
it,
He's just Bruce Wayne now. But I like the idea that they were like, well, your Batman was clean shaven with dark hair, and he's like, nope,
Yep.
I will not. I absolutely will not.
So I guess again, it's not really the version from Batman and Robin. It's converging.
So
and
does
whatever.
that mean that
he's Batman now?
No, well, I guess, but is this so? In this version, the Flash has saved his father. Like he's gotten his father out of prison, but also he's in a reality.
Or he's altered this reality.
He's altered this reality, so Ben Affleck Batman's not Batman anymore. So this reality is still broken.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a mid to post credit scene with Aquaman where he's saying how you're the same in every universe except for the one where he's the dog or whatever. Where it felt to me open-ended enough, and people will probably dispute this,
Yes.
but they haven't said the hard word on this at all, that he could have fixed it again.
Yeah.
Because they never specify. But here's the thing. There is the original ending, there's a couple of things that they changed. When they were screening this, Clooney, you don't see who gets out of the car.
Right, yeah, of course.
So they hid the Clooney cameo. And then there's the original ending where Barry returns home after the Aquaman bit.
Our old pal Barry?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
I like how he's just sleeping in the puddle. I like that. Because he's a grub. He's in his grub era.
Yeah.
And one of his monitors start flashing, and apparently Ben Affleck appears on one of the screens wearing the super no-cow, and he doesn't know if this message will find Barry, but if he does, that he says, we need your help. He says, you have to find us, Barry, find us. And it ends with Barry saying, oh, fuck. And that's the end,
Yeah, right.
right? Oh, they put an F word in this as well, I
They did,
guess.
yeah.
But so I think they've been talking about a sequel to this.
Uh-huh.
No.
There's no way they'll do it.
No way.
There is
I mean,
no way they'll
unless
do it.
this does make $1 billion, then
yeah.
yes,
Uh-huh.
it will.
If this good word of mouth gets out.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because I obviously hated it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you say it was there were some moments that you liked, but you're not obviously.
That's right. So if this, if this goes viral, I imagine Warner Brothers will put the entire transcript of this on their posters, I would imagine.
I did enjoy though that Ben Affleck's like, listen, I know you're talking about you can go back and save my parents or whatever, but I don't think it's a good idea because it makes us who we are. And then Barry Allen wrecks Ben Affleck so hard that he rolls him completely out of this universe.
Yeah.
Just wipes him from existence. So, that's fun.
Yeah.
Now we'll talk about some sequels and some upcoming stuff.
Right, I love that.
But do you want some reviews from people who have written in?
Yes.
All right, here we go. It's from Ben, who says, The Flash checked a bunch of concept boxes, but the execution of them left a lot to be desired. The CGI was horribly uncanny valley, and I think they forgot to style most of everyone's hair. Flash's suit and Keaton's performances didn't make up for the video game quality. Brad says, thankfully, The Flash is phenomenal fun. On the spectrum of multiverse movies, it's more No Way Home than Spider-Verse or Everything Everywhere All at Once. A sugar rush of comic book pulp with surprisingly toothsome emotional beats. I really, really enjoyed the ride.
Very toothsome.
Yeah. So again, like that one, in concept, I agree with.
I
but
think
not execution.
Let me ask you this, James? If the CGI was still as ropey as it is, and you didn't know anything about the external circumstances of this movie, do you think you'd like it more?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think I'd probably like it more, but I don't think I'd love it.
And I think that's probably what they're banking on, general audiences who don't know anything about what Ezra Miller got up to and don't know.
Because most people don't, really.
Exactly, and I think most people would go like, oh, I remember Christopher Reeve's Superman. Oh, I remember 60s Batman. Isn't that a bit of fun kind of thing?
But the visuals of it and the execution of that speaks to me in terms of like what they think people are willing to accept.
Yeah.
So that to me I find worse than just the fact that it looks
interesting.
Terrible.
Okay, yeah.
And because if they were just like, look, we ran out of money and whatever, like I would have been like, okay.
When this comes to streaming, without a doubt, there'll be
Next
a guy.
week.
Yeah, without a doubt, there'll be some people on the internet who take individual scenes and tweak the CG so it looks better. Which is,
I can't wait. Yeah. It's from Clark, who says, The Flash is bad, actually. Supergirl and Keaton don't make up for the fact that Ezra Miller is going through some serious stuff. Weird green screen and odd CGI make all the issues come forward. And Mike says, there's no way that Top Gun joke was the version of The Flash that Tom Cruise endorsed, right? So, yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah. So in this universe,
they talk about how
Eric Stoltz is in Back to the Future and Michael J. Fox is Maverick.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, yeah, okay.
No, was it Michael J. Fox?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, great stuff all around. Maybe he loved it. Maybe Tom Cruise was like, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Apparently it was a 15-minute phone call where Tom Cruise was like, I love this and I'm normal.
Yeah, nice.
And they were like, thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom, you are normal.
Anyways, the sequel apparently depends on box office.
Okay.
But of course, Andy Muschietti is going to apparently direct Batman the Brave and the Bold, which I don't have a problem with, really, at all. Because I think telling a Batman-focused story, I think if you look at, again, the emotional stuff, and if you look at the Batman stuff in this, I don't think any of that is particularly bad.
And also, I think I think the best, like I said, the best action sequence I think was the initial one, and I think Batman racing through the streets of Gotham until it gets to the freeway and his CGI Batman bouncing across the cars and stuff. But I think the
48-year-old Ben Affleck pinging off cars.
But the bike chase stuff I think was very good. I think that looked good. And Batman, Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne taking on the League of Assassins or whatever, that's going to be way less CGI heavy, one would hope.
One would hope.
So,
Yeah. And also, if it's bad, who cares? Because there'll be other movies. And a Batman sequel that they're also making.
That's
with
true,
a different Batman.
And a Penguin.
And a Penguin TV show, which is currently writer strike delayed.
That's right.
So Blue Beetle is apparently going to be the official first movie in the DCU, but it's obviously not. It only is because it just happens to be.
That's true,
It wasn't made that way. I think that's going to be so standalone it won't matter.
That's true.
I don't think we're going to get Wonder Woman showing up and waving at everybody, though she has been doing that lately. Yeah. So maybe. Yeah. I don't have a problem with her staying as Wonder Woman. I think she's great.
Well, it's good to know you don't have a problem with it, James.
Also, that brings us, I guess, to Aquaman 2.
Yes.
Where is that set? Like, is this universe fixed? And now, or is this universe like fucked and Aquaman 2 takes place in that? Or is it set in the new DCU? But also, apparently, he might be Lobo also.
I'm excited for that. I hope Lobo shows up in the post-credits of Aquaman 2.
Whoa. Yeah. That would be pretty rad, wouldn't
That'd
it?
be rad.
Well, apparently, they scrapped a bunch of stuff from that, including, I think it was that it had Keaton and Clooney cameos, maybe.
That's right, yeah.
Or one or the other, and they switched them, and now they're maybe taking them both out. Yeah. We won't know until we see it, until they figure out what they want to do.
Also, they haven't cast the new Batman in this universe yet, so why? I don't think that there's no way where they would put a Keaton or Clooney cameo of Batman in Aquaman 2 and then recast Batman, because I think that'd be too much confusion. I think if anything, they would. If they were going to put a Batman cameo in the end of Aquaman 2, it would be whoever the new Batman is.
Yep.
Like, they'll cast him real quick and they'll get him in there.
But they probably, I'd say it's more likely that if there's no Batman in that movie.
Absolutely.
Depending where it is in the...
So bats can't live in the water.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're thinking of a fish.
I am thinking of a fish.
Yeah. But I guess also, I think that their plan was, until James Gunn came on board, that Michael
Panic.
Panic. And Michael Keaton, because he was in Batgirl, he was in Aquaman 2. I think they were going to make him the linchpin of this story. And he was going to be like the focal point until James Gunn said, maybe we don't put like a 75-year-old man as the linchpin of the universe.
That's right.
But they were 100% lining him up to be their Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I
do not doubt that for a second.
So you're saying they should get Robert Downey Jr. as Batman?
Yes.
Great.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That.
Yeah. So that's everything.
He doesn't do anything. He just says he's Batman all the time.
Batman,
just Robert Downey Jr. He shows up in a fancy car and he's like,
You're a fan of me? I'm Batman.
Yeah, I'd be a fan of me too. I'm Batman.
Is that everything?
I think that's everything, yeah.
What a fucking train wreck.
What a time.
It's been decades of trying to get a Flash movie going. And
Well, they made the best thing they could, given the circumstances.
Anyways, I guess let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, the responses we're getting, it's really like I loved it and hated it and everything in between. So I don't think this is like a universally hated thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, and if you like it, like, that's fine. Like, I'm not angry at you.
You seem a little angry at me personally.
No, really. Like, I like when people like things. It makes me happy if people enjoy something. That's good. Even if it's absolute fucking dreck.
Whoa.
All right, Mason, what's
Well,
the
otherwise nobody would listen to our podcast.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who am I to cast stones?
That's right.
If I was in charge of this movie, there's no way it would be better than this.
Yeah. But that being said, the CG is better in our podcast. You can't see it.
Yeah.
But we've worked really hard on it.
we put in the effort.
We got the Superman versus Hulk guy to do it.
That's
It's really good.
Yeah. Anyways, what is it time for?
It's time for what we're reading.
What are we going to read?
That's right.
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? Well,
James, we're back in the room.
Now that we've finished talking about a movie which has so much in it that it's basically for nobody, let's
Or
talk
for everyone?
No.
Mr. Negativity over here.
Let's talk about what we've been up to.
Okay.
What have you been reading?
Well, I haven't been reading anything or watching anything, but it's a big week on Netflix.
So big.
So if you've cancelled your Netflix subscription, as you should have, maybe find a new email address.
Yeah.
And sign up and get a free 2 days or whatever they give you
Apparently,
now.
sign-ups are up after they stopped password sharing.
Supposedly,
so
but I
that's
don't
what
think
they
that's
say.
true. I
Yeah,
don't think that's true. But yeah, anyway, big week. There's a new season of Black Mirror, which you've seen.
Yes, I'll talk about it probably more next week or
Nice.
whatever.
Yeah, we should.
I didn't realize it was at the end of it, but I was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, went by just that
I was like,
quick.
oh, only 5.
Okay.
I thought there was 6.
Well, there's not.
Yeah.
And also,
Jake Straction.
Jake Straction is back.
Action.
Jake Straction, Hugh Jackman Extraction. That's his confirmation name, Hugh Jackman.
How does he do it?
I don't know.
Apparently it's good, right?
I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
So-
But no, with that and The Flash and various other things that are out this week. And I've watched one episode of Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
I know people are like loving it, but I thought it was okay. Like I didn't love it.
Great.
So Nick Fury comes back to Earth and there might be a Skrull invasion. And there's 3 separate times where they're like, Nick Fury, you're not the same since you snapped. You went to space. We think you've changed. 3 different people tell him that.
Well, maybe he has.
And then there's a moment where he like thinks, he sits there and he thinks about the time he got snapped.
Right.
And you see it happen.
Okay, all right.
So but I don't know. I thought it was okay. Again, I've got 2 episodes, but I haven't watched the second one yet. But
Wow.
people seem to be okay with it.
Okay.
From the early response, but too early for me to say, to be honest.
Also, I've just received a notification that my package is available to pick up, and it's both volumes of The Authority, the former Image Wildstorm comic that is now a DC property that they're going to make a movie out of. And I'm like, I better give it a reread.
I can't wait for you to hand those over to me.
I'm not going to give them to you.
Just one of them. The second volume.
Second volume is Mark Miller.
So I don't know what's happening.
Oh, yeah, great. Okay.
Ooh.
But yeah, I remember enjoying those back in the day, and I'm like, I'm going to check those out because it's going to be a big time movie.
That's true.
So,
it might be a big time movie.
big time. Well, I mean, what else are they going to do? Another Flash movie? Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I mean, maybe with a different Flash. What do you think the chances of Ezra Miller coming back are? Pretty slim, right?
Not 0.
I agree. It's not 0, but if the box office is not great, then that's 0 because they've clearly like sheltered this whole experience. I know we're coming back to it.
Yeah.
Like so they could get the most out of this movie, but now it's out. They have no reason to.
I reckon they could do like I reckon they might go, well, the Ezra was not the problem with this movie and blah, 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 and they've had a big stuff, they've had a big
stuff
we did a big intervention and they've changed their ways and they're on a path and blah, 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 and we'll see you in 2025 for The Flash 2. And by 2025, we mean 2035.
I also think, like, absolutely, if they could, like, are doing better and get better, and I think that's all good. Like, people, redemption should absolutely be an arc for people.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the fact that they haven't even acknowledged anything, I talked about it. Anyway, should we move to the next segment of the show?
We should. It's letters. Here it is.
I love letters. I love how many we get.
All right, settle down. You have had too much The Flash, young man.
I have.
And you are hyperactive. And you need to settle down while we do letters. We're going to here right now. We're going to do letters. We're going to do this for 5 more minutes and then we'll end the show.
All right, we'll end the show.
And then you can play PlayStation.
Okay, I can't wait to play PlayStation. If you do want to reach the show, hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter or
right.
weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. I'll just do this one, Jack, but we talked about it. It says hashtag weeklyplanetpod. I've only seen 3 episodes of Black Mirror so far. I feel like it deserves its own podcast episode. So maybe The Flash this week, then Black Mirror. And then Jack says, I didn't like the Aaron Paul one. So, yeah, maybe we'll do Jake Straction, Black Mirror next week.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I don't know. I might forget all about Black Mirror by next week, but you'll have seen it.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
Maybe you'll jog my... No, I enjoyed it. I thought there were some really strong episodes in there. But it also feels some of them are just like, this is whatever now. Like, it's not necessarily like your phone's going to dig into your brain.
That's right.
And bite you. What do you...
Oh, my God, what if it does, though?
What do you got in terms of letters?
This is from Guy. He's emailed in. The great pop culture limb pun tattoo dream, he said.
Oh, my God.
Inspired by Marty McFly, which was, of
Yeah.
course, the Marty McFly tattoo that one of the characters had in The Flash this week.
Very good.
What would your tattoo choice combining an icon and a body part be?
Oh, God.
You don't have to. I'm not.
I do not have one.
No, exactly. Neither do I.
It's a good question.
It's a good question. He's done some puns here. Mine would be knee 3PO, Chindiana Jones, or the more obvious Dick Grayson.
So you Indiana Jones on your chin?
What I'm asking you is what kind of tattoo would you get generally? It doesn't have to be a pun.
Oh, wow.
I'm asking you because neither of us have any tattoos as far as I know.
I would get that one where, it looks like the guy, it looks like in his chest like a baby's driving his body.
You're right. I
get
one
that
of those
one.
guys, that guy who famously said this is the biggest regret he's ever had in his life of doing that. You would get that exactly.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. It's probably boring, but I'll probably get the names of like people in my family or whatever.
Oh.
But not the people I like, the family members I
Right.
hate, like extended family I want to destroy.
Yeah, oh,
And it would
nice.
just
And then you'd
remind me-
cross them, and you'd go to a function and you'd point at it and go, "There you go, there you go, mate. There you go.
Yeah.
Gary. You're in for it." And
Gary
then-
movies.
and you'd get a Sharpie out and you'd crack, and then you'd put a line through it and be like,
What do you think, Gary?
"That's right."
Yeah. What would you get?
That's a great question. I don't know. I feel happy that I never got any tattoos
Younger.
or like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I love Iron Man. I should get an Iron Man
Yeah,
tattoo
yeah.
because then like the cultural context changes. I know a guy who's got red tornado tattoos,
Ooh.
like the DC character.
Okay.
He's an android and he turns into
Yeah,
a
I
tornado, as you know. And I'm like, that's a bold call because the context behind that character could change. Could
be the head of the Hitler Youth in a few
That's
years.
exactly what I'm saying. They're like, well, he's a sort of, he's like, that character's significant to you because of their, all the
Yeah,
stories
yeah.
you loved as a kid. But what if they're like, well, we need a minor character to make the head of the Hitler Youth or whatever you said. And now all of a sudden you've got the tattoos
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Southern Cross, which was on, it's on our flag, and it doesn't inherently mean that you're a big racist, but it
Oh, exclusively big racists have one.
But because I love the Southern Cross.
Yeah.
It's in the sky.
That's yep.
But sometimes a bunch of big racists have them, and whenever you see one, it's like, and you
That's
look
true.
at the person, it's like, okay,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm crowdsourcing ideas for tattoos. If I were to get one, I think I'd get a like a back of the forearm.
I
like
don't mind
there.
that idea. You
That's
want
fine.
somewhere that's not too saggy.
That's right, exactly.
Forehead.
Yeah. And I can see it. Because
Yeah.
I don't want a tattoo that I can't see.
See, I like my bicep will be good, but I'm only getting bigger.
Oh, well, okay.
So I can't. I'd just be stretching it
Can't get
out.
a tattoo of your mum that then is stretched out wildly.
She'll have to get bigger.
She'll have to get wider. She'll have to have a wider mum.
Yeah, I don't know. I think forearm, wrist, kind of. I'm okay with.
Yeah. But also,
I don't mind shoulder blade.
Here's the thing, though, James. I think there are 2 types of people with tattoos.
I think there's 3.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's list them out.
Go.
I think there's 2 types of people with tattoos. There's someone with tattoos. You look at them and you go, "Oh my God, they look so cool with tattoos. I was thinking getting a tattoo. Maybe I'll get a tattoo."
Yeah.
And there's a second type of person where you look at them and you go, "I was thinking about getting a tattoo, but maybe I won't." Right. And I'm pretty sure I'd be in the second category.
And it depends on when you see them.
I call it the Ed Sheeran effect. Is what I call
Ooh.
it. That's right.
Or what's the
I'll
guy?
say anything.
The guy from what's he called?
Jason Momoa.
Maroon 5.
Oh yeah, Adam something.
No, I like Jason Momoa's tattoos,
I know.
but I wouldn't get
Yeah.
those. Like that
Yeah.
wouldn't be a good tattoo for me to get.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I think honestly.
What if you got a Jason Klakoa? Cloaca.
Cloaca?
Jason
I knew what you
Cloaca.
meant.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. But like, I love, because we see him in the group, I love when we see like people with like superhero tattoos. Like,
Yeah.
I think they look awesome.
Because it looks good on them.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
I
it
don't
would
know
work
if
for
it
me.
would work for me.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you like it, get what,
will.
do it.
Good.
Not you. I
You
mean,
can't stop
everybody.
me.
All right.
Wow. Judgy.
But I could. I'd kill you.
Oh my God. Because he's going to kill me.
How about this, Mason?
Go
From
on.
Tommy West, who says, #Weekly Planet Pod. I can only recall that I liked this film as a child, but only saw it once or twice. Haven't seen it since. Do you have an opinion? Can you explain this? What do you think the story was? It's a poster of the movie Young Einstein.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to explain?
Well, I mean, Young Einstein, that is the Australian icon Yahoo series.
Yep.
And it's set in Tasmania, which is the...
But in like the 1900s or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Tasmania's like the lowest territory. It's like an island territory at the bottom of Australia. And his name's Einstein, and he invents beer or something, and then he ends up in rock and roll. Then he ends up in an insane asylum.
Yeah,
That was a huge hit. That
It
movie.
was big. It was a big independent Australian hit. He and then he ended up making a movie which I've never seen Young Einstein, but he made Reckless Kelly,
yeah,
which was an Ned Kelly, who's our national icon, which is a bushranger,
Yes.
basically a robber, which
Yeah.
I love. It's like a modern version of that.
Yes.
And he robs from the rich, and he's also Ned Kelly, and he gives to the poor. And it's this bizarre, like anti-authority, anti-British monarchy, like pro-Indigenous movie.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's also like it looks awful and it's not funny, but there's a real kind of weird charm to it. And Jan from The Office is in it. Hugo Weaving's in it.
Right.
It's this wild movie that came out in like 1993. And then he made one more, and it's on YouTube. I ended up watching a bunch of it the other day just by like happenstance because I was looking for the tank from Indiana Jones 3 because I was fairly confident that I saw it in in Yahoo Serious's house from Young Einstein at Warner Brothers, and I'm pretty sure I did the tour and there was the Indiana Jones tank.
None of this makes any sense if you're not both of us.
Yes.
And even I'm struggling a little
Yeah,
bit.
so Hollywood on the Gold Coast, it's a theme park, it's Warner Brothers themed, and there was a Young Einstein house in there, and so it's Yahoo Serious themed, and then you do like a little tour, and I swear that the Last Crusade tank was there, and there was a couple of them, but I looked it up, and I cannot find any proof that it ever was there. So I
Right.
might have imagined it, but I'm fairly
Yeah.
confident it was there. So that's why I was looking up Yahoo Serious, and that's what got me watching a bunch of Reckless Kelly. But then he made a movie in like the year 2000 called Mr. Accident.
Yeah, I didn't
and
see that
that
one.
one completely disappeared. So, but he's a really interesting guy. Like he's lived this really interesting life and made all these kind of independent movies. And I think he's like 60 plus now.
Yeah, right.
But
It's wild that, he got a chance to make
any of those.
any of that, right?
Yeah.
Just a real moment in Australian pop culture that he
I
was
think
just
it was
able to do
off
those.
the back of Crocodile Dundee, probably got him the first one.
Right,
That independent Australian larrikin
yeah,
comedy
right.
kind of thing.
They were searching for the new
Yeah.
Paul Hogan, and they found him in us.
That's all right.
Two heroes.
So anyway, that's in answer to your question.
Yeah, we love it.
That was for nobody except us and Toby West.
I haven't
who
seen
wrote in.
either. I haven't seen Young Einstein or Reckless Kelly since they came out at cinemas, so
Yeah.
I could not tell you.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a commentary.
Maybe we should.
Or maybe we should do a Caravan of Garbage.
Maybe we should.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cover every Ned Kelly movie. That one, the one with Mick Jagger,
Yep.
the
The Heath Ledger one.
Heath Ledger one.
There's a parody one which Abe Forsyth did, who might be directing the new RoboCop movie.
All right.
It's just called Ned.
Oh, yeah, I do know
From
that
like
one.
2006 or something. Anyway, so what have you got?
Here's one more email. This is from Will.
Will.
Hey, fellas, long-time listener. I was wondering if you've seen the recent interview with Harrison Ford from comicbook.com where they asked him if he would turn into the Red Hulk, and he says he doesn't know what the Red Hulk is.
He's lying.
You think so?
Yeah, he knows.
Do you think so?
I think the Red Hulk is in that movie. I mean, he might not know,
Yeah.
but I think he would know.
You'd think it'd be in the script, right?
Yeah.
Or do you think, see, I'm wondering about, like, if Harrison Ford does a movie where he's not the star of it,
Yeah.
do you think he gets the whole script or do you think he just gets his sides?
I mean, he might get the whole script,
but he
I don't
doesn't
know
read the
whether
whole
he
script, yeah.
reads it or not.
I think it's probably like, I wonder. Will says, I think it'd be hilarious if he filmed a whole movie and he doesn't know what the character is. But that's I feel like,
it's possible.
yeah, I feel like he is from a generation where they didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, or no, he's from
I don't know. I think the movies that he's done, a lot of them are so good
Yeah.
that there's no way that he wouldn't have handpicked a bunch of them. But
Yeah,
maybe
no,
he
that's
doesn't
true.
do that now.
Yeah.
He did
but
do
I think,
Hollywood
yeah,
Homicide.
I've said this before, but I think he's from a generation where They didn't have to know about everything about their character and on all their relationships to every other character in the universe and all their backstory.
Because there was no universe.
Exactly, and all the famous stories.
I'm Jack Ryan, am I? Fine.
Fine, exactly. I'm Indiana Jones, he had adventures. What were they? I don't know. Name another, I don't know, he found another idol. You know? So I don't know. I'd be fascinated to know his process in movies where he's not the main guy. I would love to know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think maybe, I reckon he might do, like he gets his sides and he does some scenes where he's live action and then they bring him in the booth and they're like, hey, Harrison, can you go like, I'll destroy you? And he's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And then he's surprised when he sees the movie and he's turned into a red monster.
Well, I'm the Red Hulk. You were right.
Yeah. I did say that.
Also, like, there's a good chance that he's not voicing the Red Hulk if he is the Red Hulk.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
I think Mark Ruffalo does some of it now. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I know they obviously digitize a bunch of voices. I don't know.
They might even get like Lou Ferrigno and put a filter on him or something like that.
They did for one of them.
Yeah, that would be I think that would be a fun little throwback. So maybe he doesn't, maybe I'm banking on he doesn't actually know.
Okay.
I think for real he doesn't know that he's the Red Hulk.
I think they should get Lou Bega.
Oh, nice, yeah.
He did that song.
I know, yeah.
Mambo number 5.
That's the rest of the world's Yahoo Serious. Everybody knows who Lou Bega is.
Then it should be the opposite, where I don't know who he is and I know who Yahoo Serious is.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
What a time.
Who's your Yahoo Serious? Right in.
Yes. Whatever that means to you. Very open-ended. Who's your Yahoo Serious? Is it the Yahoo search engine?
Might be.
Yeah.
Is it the search engine Ask Jeeves? Anyway, Mason, is that it?
I think that's the whole show. Folks, thank you so much for listening to the show. We 100% appreciate it.
Big week.
Gets us out of bed in the morning.
Big week for having to just absolutely rinse a fucking movie, Mason.
That's right. Or love a movie that you loved, which you thought was great. I thought it was fine. Anyway, folks, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for telling your friends about the podcast, because that is how we get new listeners. Thank you for leaving a 5-star review on your podcast catcher of choice. While you're doing the subscribe, do a little review. Why wouldn't you, James? Do you have any reviews there?
Got a couple here. You can do them in-app. I'm reading out all the 5-star ones. I'm making my way through, Mason.
Are you reading out the 4-star ones?
Yes.
Are you reading out the 3-star ones?
Yes. No, I'm not.
Are you reading out the 2-star ones?
Those ones I am reading.
What about the 1-star ones?
No.
Good.
I'm not anything less than 5.
Okay, just wanted to be clear.
This one's from Night Rider 42.
Love that.
It says, best time traveling apocalypse guys. Hey guys, love the show. Always looking forward to Monday morning so I can listen. Your discussion of time travel and apocalyptic doubles reminded me of the movie Frequently Asked Questions About Time Travel from 2009. Keep up the good work and never let your future selves talk you out of the movie reviews.
Thank you, we won't.
I don't even know what me from the future would say to me to stop me from doing this. Like, it'd have to be pretty convincing, Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like, James, you could have a sleep in instead. One time a year you could have a sleep in.
Would I still get money for the work that I do?
No, but you'd get a sleep in.
I want the money.
Okay. It's all right.
Sorry.
Wow, okay. Now, I'd give it all up for another sleep in, despite the fact that I sleep in most days. Anyway.
Oh, this is one's from Soup Mun Lives, who says, it's a podcast. And then it says it's a podcast.
I love
that's
that.
5 stars.
That
and
is
it is
so
a podcast.
true. That is so true.
Can't argue with the truth.
That's exactly right. Also, you can't argue with. You could argue with us if you want to email and get in contact.
You want
to
argue with us?
You want to argue us? We'll take you on, brother. weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com, at Facebook or Twitter at Bandcamp. You can go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Podcast subreddit and Discord. Thank you to Fidel and Maisie and Sarabi for moderating as best they can. Doing a great job over there. If you want to have some fun civil discussions about podcasts and pop culture, get in on there. If you want to follow some people on the socials, first follow
who would you?
Our friend Rob Collins, who edits this podcast and does all sorts of social media stuff for us. He's at Raw Collins on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter for all your Weekly Planet news and needs.
News and needs?
All your news and needs.
Oh, my God.
You can follow me at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter and on Nick Maso on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies, chuck in a buck or an amount you would not miss. Or you can go to bigsandwich.co for $9 per month. Bonus podcast, movie commentaries, early videos, video game let's plays, all sorts of other stuff.
How much fun stuff is happening there?
So much fun stuff. I have a lot of fun when we make
agree.
that bonus stuff.
Yeah.
We've probably got a commentary coming up or something.
We do. What is this week? I can actually check that while you're still talking.
Please do that. If you want to go to tpublic.com, you can find some Weekly Planet t-shirts. Just have to search for them.
It's not hard.
Use your initiative.
Yeah.
We believe in you. Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes. Next week, we'll probably talk about some Netflix stuff and some news. Have a grand old time. We'll go off the rails.
State. So, ooh.
Yes.
What do we got here? So I think it's a time capsule this week.
I love that.
Yeah, there we go.
I love that. We're going to talk about a year and determine if it was a good year.
It's actually also the year 1992.
Ooh.
Because we talked about that because Batman Returns.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's right.
That makes sense.
Very nice.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Grab that jam, you guys. We will see you next week.
Good riddance to us.
Absolutely. Finally, someone said it.